We are EKSE_live on Twitter, as well as EKSE on KTOwn TV on Facebook, as well as EKSE_CTV on Instagram. And joining us in the studio today, guys, we know we love making sure that we keep you guys entertained, but more especially educated in these times. And Zach is going to be helping us do just that. He is doing his honors in economics. And he's very passionate about alleviating poverty in our country, and that's a very, very big thing, especially for people of color in South Africa. There's so much poverty that is going on in this world, and if we can find people like Zach who are making sure that they are finding different ways to alleviate poverty, I am happy, you can be happy, the whole world can be a better place. He is doing his honors, he is a leader at heart, he has done so many leadership programs that I actually cannot even count, and I'm looking at his CV. He's just doing incredible and amazing things, and we just want to speak to him today about what it is that is going on in his life during the coronavirus, more especially what's happening in the lives of South Africans and how we can be helping one another. Zal, welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much for having me and for that really lovely introduction.
No problem at all. Now let's get right into it. Okay, you're doing economics, right? Was that your first choice? Was that the first thing that you were passionate about? And when did you realize, no man, there's so much inequality in this country and I want to be part of making a difference?
Yeah, that's a really funny question, actually. I changed my degree 3 times over my course at university.
Right.
I had no idea what I wanted to do. Started off doing finance and thought I was creative and I'd be a really good marketer, but all of that failed. And when I was in second year, I had a really great lecturer. Her name was Effie, and she taught us about the global financial crisis. And early in third year, we had one more lesson that really sparked my interest in economics, and it was about intergenerational inequality.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, I guess, the power of economics towards creating change and realizing how unequal and in what a precarious position South Africa is in economically right now.
Yeah. And I mean, most of us are quite frustrated, rather, with the economy, or more scared, because we don't know what's going to happen. The economy, there's a lot of different things. We are borrowing a whole lot of money where people don't actually know where that money is going to come from. People are saying we're going to pay with it through tax and all these different things. Can you just break that down for us, if you can, and just explain to us what it is that's happening in the economy right now as we speak, especially for those who are less privileged than most of us?
Absolutely. And so for complete disclaimer, I'm still studying economics, and I feel like there's much qualified people out there that can break down what's happening. It's almost certain that we are heading into recession, a global recession at that. And unfortunately, it is those at the bottom of the pyramid that are affected most. For instance, the closure of small businesses, informal traders, and survivalists who don't rely on government grants are in a very precarious position right now. And we can expect, especially young people going into the job market over the next few years, to have a bit of a harder time finding jobs, which is already so difficult in South Africa. We can expect a very tight economy going forward, but I'm also very hopeful. I don't know about you, but the current leadership that we have in government and just, I guess, people coming together over this crisis, I think even though we're going to a very scary time, we're going in it a bit more united than we were previously. So I have hope that in the next 5 years, we'll live a very beautiful South Africa.
Right. And one of the things also that I was reading is that you are passionate about teaching people, or not teaching people rather, because you're also still learning yourself, but also just learning and studying the ways in which self-employment can go and entrepreneurship, because we feel like that is the future, especially for the South Africans, because most South Africans, the youth unemployment rate is so incredibly high. So the more we can actually self-employ ourselves, the better. What do you think about that going forward in South Africa?
I love that you brought that up. Like you mentioned, youth unemployment rate right now is sitting somewhere at 55%.
Yeah.
And something that's been spoken about a lot is the idea of using entrepreneurship as a means to stimulate inclusive economic growth and also to empower ourselves instead of relying on government and large corporations to create jobs. I'm very passionate about the power of employment, and I've got to work with some incredible entrepreneurs from Philippi, Kailicha, Lange, and Nyanga. And last year at one of our sessions, someone said to me, "Hey, Zach, I don't employ 7 people. I support 7 families." And I think that's where the power of self-employment is. It's a very great means towards creating a better South Africa. So yeah, I think that's my views on it.
Yeah, and then one thing I obviously do want to ask you about, how are you doing in this time? Because I mean, with the coronavirus, everyone is staying at home. And something that you did mention a little earlier on is that small businesses are indeed struggling, not even struggling, they're being closed down and being expected to survive off the most minimal amounts that the government is going to give us, which they are trying. We can recognize that. But what do you think is the way forward for that? I mean, some hairstylists cannot work until maybe level 2. A lot of people can't work until level 2. Till then, what do you suggest, or what do you think we can do to help each other? And to the people that are not working, do you think there's any way around this, or should they just hold on for prayer, hope? What's moving forward? What's moving forward from this?
It's a very uncertain time, and we released a research report recently about just how badly this pandemic is affecting these very small businesses.
Yeah.
We found things that 55% of them see their businesses closing at the end of this pandemic, and so I think my advice would be twofold. First would be to the entrepreneurs themselves and to people trying to survive this crisis. Please hold on for dear life, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think the focus has to come from government right now. And yes, they've been doing great with the COVID grant and the child support grant. But I think when it comes to supporting businesses, that's very important as well for sustenance in the future. And so specifically to support township businesses, we need to reduce eligibility requirements on the funding. We need to make it more accessible in local languages, accessible over mobile phones, accessible for people who don't have printers at home. We need to make it into grants and not loans, because loans saddle small businesses with debt for years to come. And so I think that's where we need to focus our attention. And I hope that government makes these changes, but I also hope that entrepreneurs just hold on for dear life right now, and sending you all my hope as well.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for chatting to us. But before I let you go, there is something that you worked on, which was pretty incredible, which is why women entrepreneurships from townships do fail. Now, can you just tell us, in maybe a minute or so, the idea behind that, why you thought it was necessary, and how we are moving forward to that? Because, I mean, women are indeed the biggest entrepreneurs. If you think about it, in the township, they're selling food, they're doing hair, but then why are they failing?
Absolutely. And so, like I mentioned, we worked with a lot of entrepreneurs from townships around Western Cape over the last few years, and most of them have been women. We were very inspired by them, and we wanted to understand why their businesses weren't growing. And last year, we came across a very scary fact that around the world, women entrepreneurship seems to be increasing, but in South Africa, women entrepreneurship has declined by 10% over the last 10 years. And so we wanted to investigate this further, and specifically in the township context. And obviously, we know that women face a lot of barriers into entrepreneurship in general. But being a Black woman that lives in a township, you're also subject to spatial inequality, to the legacy of apartheid, to gender norms, to family responsibilities. And then on top of barriers itself, if you're a Black woman that lives in a township, you have the lowest probability to access credit to start your business. You generally lack networks and mentors. And so we tried to investigate this trend over time. And we also looked at who's trying to solve this problem. And at the end, we looked overseas to the rest of sub-Saharan Africa that has been exceptional at encouraging women entrepreneurship and suggested some solutions to how we can better support women entrepreneurs. And I truly believe that there's a huge unlocked economic potential that women entrepreneurs have if we just eliminate the barriers that are holding them back right now. But absolutely, I'd love to share that report.
Listen, Zach, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you and actually finding out what it is that is happening in your mind, especially as you are studying in this field. So where it is that we're heading to, thank you for joining us. Before I let you go, where can we find you on social media? Where can our fans find you on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's Flapjack Zach on Instagram and Twitter, and it's just Zaakir Essa on LinkedIn. But thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you giving me a platform.
Thank you so much for joining us. But right now, guys, we're going to take a little bit of a short break, and we will see you after this. EKSE.